Chris John for KaijuPup.com, and today we're having a quick look at Valiant Hearts: The Great War, which came out on well, current gen and last gen stuff, as well as PC this past week. It's something I've been really looking forward to, an adventure game in the UbiArt framework style, so focused around, obviously real life events that happened during World War One. I'm not all the way done here. I'm halfway through the game right now, and I don't want to give that much away, so I'm going to choose something that has some kind of events but isn't too spoiler heavy, so nice and early on here, just past the tutorial.
Amidst the never-ending attacks and counterattacks, Freddy and Emil hunted the elusive Baron and his regiment in Ypres.
So we'd seen a fair bit of this just in trailer form, where the game just looked really gorgeous in video, without really much of a clear idea of what the game itself was. But what it effectively is an adventure game.
On April 22nd, 1915.
Where, it's not in the point-and-click style, but where you have direct control over your character. You play as 4 different characters throughout the game, and you kind of hop in between them, and they're all, for the most part, kind of thrown in, sort of fate has led them here. So I'm playing as this old guy, Emil, and his son, he's enlisted in the French army by the general movement, and his son-in-law is German. The game starts out with this German character with his new wife and baby son, and they both get drafted to opposite ends of the war, which happens. His families were broken up throughout, and I think Frank is his name. He's joining in here. He's like Emil's buddy, and there's one more character who we might run into as well. So basically, the deal is here, everything's sort of centered on real-life events, and the story's based on letters that were sent back and forth from the front lines. Although obviously, there's their own story that they need to tell here. Each sort of person has their own reason for being involved, but you can read up on the history of what's happening just by hitting triangle at any time, and you get little insights of what's going on, as well as stuff from the Apocalypse Project, which was it's a thing that apparently is centered on colorizing old photos from the era, so you get a really good feel of what's going on, and these little text blurbs are certainly really interesting. Here, this section's about the first chlorine gas attacks and chemical warfare in the First World War, and how the Canadian forces discovered a way of trying to survive through it. But that's what I'm facing right now, is this chlorine gas that's going to kill me if I run into it. So luckily I have my trusty dog here, who's also been sort of caught up in things, and I can order him places. So I'm going to send him over here to turn off the gas. And so yeah, Emil and his son-in-law are just sort of caught up in things. There's Frankie section. I think we probably will get to him in a little bit. We'll get to play as him. He's a little bit more video gamey. He's out for revenge for reasons that are not entirely clear to me quite yet, but his sections of the game are the most video game-ish. There's actually a boss fight at the end of this chapter, which I won't go into. We won't get that far here. But the ultimately it's about sort of solving puzzles and doing this sort of point-and-click adventure thing. There's very little combat in it. What there is kind of sneak up behind a guy and give him a clonk on the head. It's the closest sort of, reference point from a gameplay perspective that I can make is a LucasArts game. It feels very LucasArtsy, actually. Actually, I don't want to send that thing up. Ah, but I'm going to send it down, and then hop on it, and then go there, and then send it down again. So mild spoilers for this particular puzzle. You figured it out now. Well done. But yeah, it's not. It shies away from having you kill, and you know every character that's here never wants to, except for Frankie and the Baron that he despises so much. But oh no, we want to shut off this chlorine gas right now. But as you see, as you saw when I was wandering up to this point, it doesn't shy away from death at all, and it never glamorizes the war. This is certainly no shooter. This is no action game here, but it's very, in its own way, graphic, in its depictions of just how horrific things were and people dying from these gas attacks. And it probably won't get that far because I don't want to ruin anything, but just the effects of bombings in towns and things like that, and the devastating effect that this war has had on everybody's lives, and the conflict that it had. The effect that the conflicts had on everybody's lives is it's something that it really plays with delicately but extremely well, and it suits this framework. I mean, the art style for sure. It's something I think that let me go the other side of this and then send that. Or do we? Hang on. That over there. And bring it up. I mean, it has this cartoony style, obviously from the Rayman games and Child of Light, that also had the same gimmick. And there's bits of this that are very sort of colourful in a way, in parts it feels like sort of Biggles comic book, and in other parts it really, there is its own sense, there is the game's own sense of whimsy to this, where there are times where it has fun, there are times where it makes you smile, but it's about that contrast and the sort of moments of triumph and human I suppose happiness, interspersed with the horrors of what's going on. That's really clever. I mean, one thing that struck me from the beginning is that the four characters you play, and all of the characters in the game, they sort of have a helmet over their heads or hair in front of their eyes or what have you, and you can't see their eyes. And that's obviously a really important stylistic choice. That I think it's just that you couldn't convey the terror of the stuff that they're seeing, and do that with cartoonish sort of black spots for eyes. I think. I mean, it's just everything, just little things like that are very, very carefully done and very well produced. So you need to get escape from the poison gas here. And obviously, I don't know. I hope nothing happens to this dog. I really do. I'm prepared for the worst. He can dig up little secrets for you as well, but I think I've already uncovered this one. Little historical items that you might find. But we need to attach this in here. Yeah, I hope nothing happens to this dog, because he's just he's a cute little fellow there. There's a special button for giving him a little pat on the head. Get in the basket. So yeah, there's little cutaways every now and then. Sometimes that serves a graphical purpose. Sometimes sometimes it's purely presentational story. There are sections as well where you're sort of evading machine gun fire and stuff, and that gives you sort of valuable gameplay information as well. So that's cool. And they're all, yeah, there's not that much in terms of explicit dialogue between the characters. It's just it's not Simlish, but it's very, very simple. You know, the American guy going, "Oh, thank you, my friend," and you know, the French guy's going, "Merci," and you know, it's very simple. French enough for me even to understand with my, you know, basic school level French and German to understand it. And yeah, we're just about to run into this bit. We're gonna
Her name was Anna,
desperate stretch
a Belgian student
into
living
Anna's
in
car.
Paris. She was hard on the trail of her missing father.
And Anna's sections as well, like this, you know, Anna's a medic, and her sections as well, but they're, in a way, they're the most fun because she's kind of, you know, a go-getting character with her car, and you have these driving sections which are great. They're, you know, they're tied into the music, very much like the music-based stages in Rayman, but like these little endless runner stages, which are just really, really good fun to play. And there's a section where you're driving, you know, at the start of the war, you're driving troops to the front line in a similar bit, but the can-can's playing, and it's just, you know, it's very, very simple, but a lot of fun. And it's just contrasted with her reaching the front and then having to do horrific things to treat the soldiers and their wounds. So, you know, it's very tonally really good. It's not, it doesn't hammer its seriousness over the head. You know, I mean, obviously it's a very serious game, and it's dealing with a very serious topic, but there's sections of levity interspersed here to give you just a sense of hope, and that's really, really important. Again, just to the presentation of it as well, really helps it stop it from being too grim, and that really kind of helps the message and the story it's trying to tell get across, I think. And it's you know, as much as anything, it's a really valuable history lesson. Where I feel, you know, World War II is a conflict that has been done to death in video games, and probably because, you know, it was much more of a kind of a video gamey, you know, from a video game perspective, it was more of a black and white narrative of, you know, evil bad guy kind of stuff, you know, much more complex than that, of course. But, you know, here we've got something that's you know, probably more politically complex. I don't know, I don't want to sort of misspeak, but it enables the game to not be about the war itself, but about the personal stories and the personal issues that are springing from it. So yeah, this is heading towards the end of chapter 1 here, and I don't want to go too far into spoiler territory, because I really recommend that you check it out yourself. Yeah, as I said, I'm about halfway through it. When I'm done, there'll be a full written review on kaijupulp.com in the very near future. But I'm really enjoying the game so far, and I think you should too. You would too. It's $15, I think. It's on current gen consoles, last gen consoles, and PC as well. And yeah, Valiant has the Great War out now. Chris Jarman for kaijupulp.com. Thanks for watching. Bye.